In the previous lesson, we opened the terminal application on our macOS machines, and we learned some basic commands for navigating the file system, taking a look at files, etc. So now that we're comfortable with the terminal, we can use it to execute a few commands. The first thing we're going to want to do is to install something called the XCode command line tools. What this is fundamentally a bunch of lower level libraries and languages that are going to enable us to install Ruby. So you could think of these as the prerequisites, the technical prerequisites that we need to have installed on our computer in order to be able to install Ruby. So the good news is we're only going to need to run the following command once, and then we never have to worry about it again. It's just installing all of those dependencies. So in your terminal in any directory, you can execute xcode -select, then do a space, then 2 dashes, and the word install. Now you might have heard of the technology XCode. XCode is a big, bulky editor that you can download on Mac OS computers, and it's used for building iOS applications with the programming language Swift. This is not the same XCode. This is a special set of tools that have the name XCode Select or XCode command line tools. So don't worry, this is not going to be as bulky as the XCode application itself. So we can go ahead and execute this. You can see it says install required in the background, and it's going to bring up this prompt that says the Xcode select command requires the command line developer tools. Would you like to install them? You can click the blue install button. You can agree to the license agreement, and it's going to go ahead and download and fetch that technology from the web. Now, this process may take up to a couple minutes, so you can go grab a nice cup of coffee, take a little breather, and what I'll do here is let this run, and we'll check back in when the installation process is complete on my end. Okay, so here we are at the end of the installation process. We see that this modal pops up that tells us the software was installed, so we can click done. And one way that we can verify that everything is installed successfully is simply by attempting to rerun the command again. So on my keyboard, I can just press the up arrow key to get the exact same command as I just had. I'm going to try executing this again. And this time around, you can see it's an error and it says command line tools are already installed. So that is a good sign that everything was successful. And there's one more thing that we can do, once again, as an extra sanity check to make sure everything was successfully installed. We can run xcode -select, and then instead of the install flag, we can do -p, and that should give us the location on our computer's hard drive where this is installed. Now, the actual directory doesn't really matter. What matters is that we get some kind of output. So if we get this, that means that the command line tools have been successfully installed. And in case you're curious, they are located right here. All right, so that takes care of the first prerequisite that we need in order to install Ruby. And I will see you in the next lesson.